right, welcome back, Last Request Barbecue Show, where we're making meals to die for. On this episode, I was thinking, why did I get back into eating ribs? It's been years since I had been eating ribs, and in fact, it kind of drove me to get a smoker. I wanted to make some great ribs. And when I thought about it, it all came down to watching Frank Underwood on House of Cards go to Freddy's and have ribs like for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. You know, that whole show, first season, was pretty amazing television. Went south from there, so to speak. Speaking of south, is South Carolina recipe. Frank being from Gaffney, South Carolina. So where did I find a recipe on earth for that? Of course, Binging with Babish. In this great book, he goes through 100 recipes that he finds and concocts and makes from different TV shows. And sure enough, he makes Freddy's ribs. So we're going to make Freddy's ribs today, and I'm really excited about it. It's an unusual kind of mix of spices. We're going to do it right from the spice up, from the sauce, and it's going to be a great episode, so let's get started. All right, let's get started. We've got an array of spices here, and we're going to put them all in this container. So what have we got? We've got 2 tablespoons of dry mustard. We have 3 tablespoons of chili powder. We have 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. We have 1 tablespoon of garlic, ground garlic. We have 1 tablespoon of oregano. We have 1 tablespoon of cumin. Love cumin. Love cumin. Thrilled to see that in a recipe. And then we have 1 tablespoon each of salt and pepper. So kosher salt and pepper, I've mixed those 2 together. And that's our rub. So let's get that a good shake. And now we have our rub recipe. Looking good, looking good. As I said, listen, I started watching, House of Cards was a wonderful show. The first scene of the first show was just breakthrough. If you all remember what happened in that first scene, it was like, what is this? And it was a big bet for Netflix. It was their first bought-in produced show. I mean, prior to House of Cards, Netflix didn't really produce any shows. They licensed content, but Netflix, I think, saw the future coming in terms of, we got to get our own content if we're going to play in this streaming game. And like I said, House of Cards, now you look back, right? It doesn't look like a big risk. It was millions and millions, but in the scheme of things that these guys play, that's not a ton of money. But at the time, it was seen as very risky, and they were in it against a bunch of other people. So anyway, interesting how it all turned out. Just trying to get, I forgot my paper towel, so I'm trying to get this, there we go. Got to get this member off. It's a lot easier with a paper towel. Come on, boy, it's slippery. There we go, finally. Got all that crap off. All right, good. All right, so ribs are looking good. Don't need to do too much with these. A nice pair of set of Ontario Dubreton ribs, organic Dubreton ribs. Looking good, so let's just get South Carolina Freddy's spice on it. A little bit of salt in here, so I didn't dry brine them. There we go. Wow, this is very cumin forward. Smells amazing. Loving this already. And then we're going to make an amazing sauce that goes on it that's actually going to sit and reduce for like an hour. We're going to put these on at around 225. Let them go. All right. That's good. Let's get these onto the Yoder. It's March, but it's still snowing, but that's okay. Yoder's handling it well. All right, let's get those on there. And we are good to go. Always make sure your hopper is filled. This is going to be a fairly long cook. So I'm using today these Pitmaster Choice pellets, available here in Canada. Very fresh pellet. No additives, so I'm loving this brand. Love the Yoder with the big 20-pound hopper. I didn't really appreciate it as much as I did when I started cooking. There we go. I mean, these smell like fresh wood. Not that I recommend you go around smelling your pellets, but these are good. They smell fresh, makes better smoke. All goes into the food. All right, now let's make our sauce. And this is going to be really interesting because it has as its base crushed tomatoes or tomato puree. So I'm using these Longo's crushed tomatoes. These are delicious. I've tried these before. And by the way, come on, for all you manufacturers out there, pull tabs, come on. It's making my life easy. All right, so we actually put 2 full cups of crushed tomatoes in here, which I guess is pretty much, it's pretty much the can. So let's call it the can for easy measuring. Good, look at this. Come on, come on. Isn't this amazing? Oh, look at that. I hate can openers. Did I tell you? I just hate can openers. Now, it's going to make a lot of sauce. That's okay. These are going to be very saucy ribs. And then we're going to put in 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. And for that, I'm using this organic apple cider vinegar from our friends at Longo's. So 2 cups of that. There we go. That's 1. And there we go. That's 2. Okay, we'll call that a bartender pour. And then we're using a dark brown sugar. Now, typically I've used light brown sugar. This is about a 1/4 cup of this dark brown sugar. In we go. Then we've got a little garlic powder, teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we've got a teaspoon of mustard powder. And 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Did I ever get tired of saying Worcestershire sauce? There we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, once again, bit of a bartender pour. Then we've got some onion powder. There we go. And then some kosher salt, about a teaspoon of that as well. Now we whisk, as Sam the cooking guy would say. Now, obviously, that is a very liquidy sauce. We're going to put it on our handy dandy barbecue, and we're going to bring it to a boil and then take it right down. So let's get this on. There we go. So we're going to put this on top, put our lid on, and then once in a boil we're going to turn it down to basically like almost no simmer, but basically a very, very low simmer for an hour and about a half. And that's going to make a thick, thick barbecue sauce. I've never done anything quite like it before. Usually I've used a thicker, like I've used ketchup or different things. So this is a different and interesting sauce. So let's see how it turns out. All right, looks like it's been brought to a boil already. Yep, that would be brought to a boil. Very good, very good. Now we're going to turn it right down. And we're going to simmer this for about an hour. Maybe even an hour and a half. Actually, Babish calls it an hour and a half. So let's see. I mean, it smells just amazing. Let's just get a bit of a taste here. Now, that's going to be just the taste without the concentrated element of the sauce. But, delicious. Boy, this is going to be so good on the ribs. All right, our ribs have been cooking for about half an hour. Let's take a look. Oh, coming along nicely. Let's take a closer look. You can see some breakthrough there, which is nice. Now we're going to spritz them with apple juice. It's part of the recipe. Keep them moist, and we'll keep doing that every half hour. Put that back in, close her up. Keep on cooking. Keep on grilling, Spitmaster X would say. And now let's get in and start coating our ribs. Here's some of the sauce still coming together. It's really thickening up. Not quite there yet for the final finale, but let's start putting some on now. Look at that, beautiful. Look at those colors. We'll get some decidedly un-South Carolina weather here today. Beautiful. Now, that'll keep continuing down to thicken up. You can see the tomato forward base of it. Let's get that back in, keep cooking. All right, our ribs have been cooking for a couple of hours, going on to 3. Let's take a look. Ah, looking very nice. Give it a little spritz here. Love the sound of that spritz. All right, that's not very productive spritzing everywhere, but anyway, it was fun. I'm gonna put some aluminum foil, which, hint, don't leave outside. Woo, geez, ah. And we're gonna put those in the aluminum foil. Let's get our rack out. Love this about the Yoda. Just pull the rack out and we can get a good look at our ribs. There we are. This sauce has been simmering now for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So we're going to pour on our sauce. There we go. Now let's wrap that up. Finish this cook. I've been to South Carolina, by the way. Did I tell you? I've been to South Carolina twice. Golfing, actually. Great state. Great golfing. Spectacular golfing. Went in the March break when I was in university a couple times with some friends. So it's a great place to be. This is nothing like South Carolina here. Kudos to House of Cards, Gaffney, South Carolina, and all right, I'll leave those for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes, maybe half an hour. I don't know. I'm gonna leave them in and check them. I think they're pretty close to being done. Okay, it's been 3 hours and change. Let's see. Let's get unwrapping and let's see how our ribs are. I'm excited. Let's go to the big reveal. Okay, part one of the big reveal, because that's like a big reveal of, aluminum foil, which is like less of an interesting reveal. Okay, the real reveal. Oh yeah, look at that. Good looking ribs. Yeah, good looking ribs. Different, that's for sure. That's different, man. All right, let's get them in. There we go. Check that out. Yum, yum, yum. Freddy's ribs. Look at that, you got a nice, beautiful smoke ring. Just delicious. Right, all right, here we go. Oh my goodness, it's so good. I mean, obviously, it's a different flavor. That apple cider forward flavor. So good. Very different from the ribs I've made before. This sauce is, come on. It's right, pull off the bone fresh. It's obviously tomato forward, as you can see by even the looks, but these are delicious. Well, there you have it. Freddy's ribs, as enjoyed by Frank in Gaffney, South Carolina. There we are. Delicious.